Hi, I'm going to walk you through the folder setup for the Snowdas data and the download from the FTP site and the renaming of the header file so that you can use the .dat files that you obtain from the NOAA Snowdas site to use in ArcGIS for analysis. So to show you the file structure I set up, and I did it just on the desktop so I could easily find it, I would recommend actually putting it more in a file that you use and not leaving it on the desktop. You can see on the desktop I have a folder called Snowdas Data and a year, so it helps me keep organized by year, the month, and then I'm going to look at February 2nd, 2005, so I'm going to download day 2, just the way I'm organizing it. And you also notice here I have the HDR header template, which I emailed to both students today. This is what we're going to rename and add to the .dat file so that ArcGIS will be able to use the .dat file. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Snowdas site. The link was emailed to you. You should have access to it. And in the section 3, Data, Access, and Tools, you'll see a link for FTP. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to grab the masked folder. Again, the year I'm thinking of is 2005, February 2nd. So I am going to download the data set for February 2nd, 2005. Here it is, the tar file. I'm going to click on it, save the file. You'll see it downloading over here. This may take several minutes depending on your connection speed. I'm doing this wirelessly, so you should have no problems downloading this almost instantaneously on a wired connection in the lab. So while that's downloading, what I'm going to do is copy it out of, or cut it out of the downloads folder and copy and paste it into the file structure that I've already set up. You'll notice I've already got 7-zip open and running here. The lab also has ISARC, which does exactly the same thing. I don't have access to ISARC on this machine. Not sure why, but either will work. Let's see, it's almost done. Okay, so if I click on the folder here, you'll see in my downloads folder, here it is. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to cut the tar file out of there. I'm going to move it to the file structure I previously set up in my Snowdas data. Again, put this anywhere you need to. 2005, February, day 2, and I'm going to paste it right here. So now it's all set up to be extracted. So first we have to extract the tar file. I'm going to right click, 7-zip, and I'm going to extract files. And it should extract it right to the same file structure and show up right there. There it is. I'm going to double click on that. Now there's a specific file we need out of here based on the code. As we discussed, we want to look at the 1L01 .dat file for specific data we're looking for. So here it is. Here's the .dat file. So I can right click on this 7-zip and I can extract it here. Kind of tricky because all it does is it takes off the GZ file. So the first time I did this I actually lost it. I was like, what did I do with it? It just strips off the GZ, so now it's actually ready to go. I'm going to take this, just so I'm not confused, I'm going to cut and move it into my day 2 file, just so I'm not confused by all the other files in there. So you can see the .dat file. And then I need the header file. I'm going to keep it just because it's got a lot of good metadata that you might want to reference later. So I'll just cut this out, put it here, paste it, and then I can gun zip it or 7-zip it. I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong thing. Let me get rid of this. I'm going to grab its header file. You see it gets a little tricky working with this. There's the header file. click 7-zip, extract here. So now I've got a DAT and a header file, both unzipped. Again, this doesn't probably matter because it's got too much information in it, but it might be good to hang on to just for metadata. So now I go to February, or I go to my Snowdash data. Here I have my template. I'm going to copy this into my day 2 folder. So I know there's a lot of stuff floating around in here, but I've got my DAT folder and the full header file. What I'm going to do is create one final folder for myself. I'm going to take the .dat file, which I unzipped, put it in here. I'm going to take the header template and put it in there as well. So now I have the header template and the DAT file that I need. Really, this is the only step you have to be concerned about. How you get to this point is really up to you. I probably could have got here a little quicker, but what I'm going to do now is right-click on this DAT file. I'm going to click Rename, and notice it highlights the entire name that I want. Using the keyboard command Control-C, I'm going to copy that, come up to the HDR template, right-click and rename, and say Control-V for paste, and then put .hdr at the end. So now it's a header file. So let's see. Go to ArcGIS and open ArcCatalog. And I'll take a look at this file now. Because, again, the .dat files are masked, all the header files will be the same. There are some differences for the specific files. That's why I would recommend hanging on to the header file just so you don't have to go download it again later, just in case you need some information out of it. I'm going to make a folder connection to my desktop. The plus sign. Here's my Snowdash folder. Here's my year, February, day 2, February 2 data. And you can see it actually did what Notepad did this morning, and it's trying to be helpful by reappending .txt at the end. So I'm going to right click on that in ArcCatalog, rename. Just strip off the .txt. This is a good error to get. That means we're getting close. So because ArcCatalog is not really a file manager for things like text files, if you come back to your folder, right click and refresh, you'll now see that we've got a DAT file that we can preview and work with in ArcMap. So I'm going to click on preview, click on this on the left hand side and click yes. We want to build pyramids for it. It's an indexing. So now we can see we've got the Snowdash data for February 2nd, 2005. On Windows 7, I can resize ArcCatalog, launch ArcMap right from inside ArcCatalog. Clean this up a bit. Now I can click and drag directly in. This is a good error. It's not really an error, it's just a warning. That means we don't have any spatial reference applied, which is how we want to work with it for now. And okay, so the next step will be defining our masks, whatever mask you decide to use, and projecting those and extracting the data.